this video series on using SketchUp, we're going to be doing something fun. We're going to actually be making 3D rockets. So these are model rockets that we're going to build in SketchUp. We're going to print them on the 3D printer, and then we are going to launch them outside using rocket engines. But we have to first understand a few things about rockets, and mainly the biggest thing with a rocket is, well, the weight weight. That's really it. If you have a rocket that's too weighted down with plastic or has too many features that's too heavy, the rocket engine itself isn't going to be able to lift the rocket. We won't be able to have takeoff. So when you're designing your rockets, keep that in mind. You want to make sure that what you're designing isn't going to be too heavy on the plastic. I really do encourage you to try and figure out how to use as little plastic as possible when designing your rocket. So that means thinking of ways that you could cut back on the material or the actual piece that you're designing. If that involves cutting out entire pieces or making your rocket skinnier, things like that. Anyways, this tutorial is going to be broken down into a few separate videos. You're going to have this start video. I'm going to be showing you how we make our nose cone. Now, when we make these rockets, we need to make sure every part we make is going to be the same size. Otherwise, you might wind up with a nose cone that only has like a diameter of 2 inches and then a body that has a diameter of 6 inches and like fins that are only going to be like 1 inch tall. So we need to make sure that we're keeping everything as an appropriate size, or we're keeping everything in the correct limits. So we're going to build our rocket. And when you build your rocket, feel free to build alongside this video. But what I do not want to see, and I repeat, I do not want to see this. I don't want to see exact copies of what I make in here. I want to see some of your own design flair. I want you to try different things. Make a square rocket, make a round rocket, stuff like that. Just come up with your own idea, but use the principles that you see in these videos. Okay, let's make our nose cone. And the nose cone I'm going to make, going to need a circle tool. I'm going to select my circle tool. Nope, not my circle tool. There we go. And I want to make my rocket so it's only, oh gosh, I only want it to be a couple inches. So I'm going to stick with that 2 inch. So, but remember it's in radius, so 1 inch, like that. We'll zoom extent. We'll get up there. And now we can see this. And now you can see that I have my nose cone. Well, the base of my nose cone. To create the actual cone shape to it, there are a few ways we can do this. We can make a very strict cone and it works out well where it's very sharp pointed, or we can try and make it a little more aerodynamic using our arc tool, and that's what I'm going to be going with. So I need to first kind of change how I'm looking at this. I'm going to start with my pencil tool, and I'm going to go from, I'm clicking on that red line, I'm clicking into the center or the origin point because I need to create a section here. Then I click from there, and I only want, well, I want my rocket to be a little bit taller, so I'm going to set it to be 3 inches for this line. I have my line set to 3 inches. Now I'm going to zoom out. We can see it. And then I'm going to take this 2-point arc tool. 2-point arc. I'm going to click point A, point B. I want to make sure that I'm getting it on that red line. And I might have to zoom in a little bit just so I can change it. I'm going to create my 2-point arc like that. Now you can see mine didn't connect, and that's because it looks like I messed up and didn't connect it at the bottom there. I can go Control Z to undo it. And I'm going to make this slightly easier on myself so I know where I'm going. So I just made a line, so I made a triangle. Now I'm going to make this 2-point arc here. And I'm going to go like that, and I'm going to delete the center portion here. So now I have kind of a nice airfoil design created that my printer is going to be able to easily create for me. Now that I have this, I'm going to rotate around so I can see both in front and behind that little triangle thingy I made there. And I am going to switch, I believe it's, oh, right here. Under push-pull, I'm going to change from push-pull. I'm going to use that follow me tool. And when I grab that follow me tool, I click the side I want. Oh boy. You might have to play around with it, but the idea, if this runs smooth enough, I'm going to try and trace that line. It comes back here, and now I have this really nice nose cone created. But if I go underneath, I'm going to see that the bottom is now hollow. Simple fix. Take the line tool, point A, point B, covers it, and let's delete that line. Now we have a nice nose cone made. Play around with your nose cone, choose different shapes, sizes, see what you can come up with, but it doesn't look exactly like mine. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in class, leave a comment on this video, or leave a comment or question on Classroom.